Hi there, happy hump day, and it's Wednesday. Now, no matter when you are watching this little video clip, it's likely that you will have already made many, maybe hundreds of decisions. And many of those decisions can be made quite unconsciously. They're things that we just do because that's the way we've always done things. Effectively, they're habits. The challenge, of course, is if every decision you're making is a habit, if every decision you're making is based on preconceived ideas, assumptions, expectations, things that you've seen happen in the past, it may not serve you. Why? Because basing everything that you're doing now that's leading to the future based on what you've seen and experienced in the past can on occasions not be helpful. In fact, it can actually hinder progress. So what I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you 10 things to think about. Think about like 10 hints that can help you make a better decision. So firstly, just be aware of bias. Bias pervades decision making. All of us have bias because it's how our brain works. Our brain is a pattern recognition machine, looks for patterns to try and work out what it needs to do, how to decipher something, how to interpret what's going on. And of course, that pattern is based on everything that you've seen and experienced in the past. Secondly, challenge your mindset. Is it fixed? Is it growth? What's the thought process that you're using as you're working through a decision? Are you looking at it from all of the things that you can't do, that you can't figure out? Or are you looking for the opportunities to grow, to learn? Number 3, don't silence dissenters. It can be great to have people sitting around and agreeing with you, but when you're making a decision that's hard, that's challenging, you need people around you who are going to challenge how you see the world, who are going to disagree with you. Number 4, ignore hierarchy. Particularly if you're in senior levels in your organization, it's really important to listen to people who have different ideas, to listen to people who have different perspectives because they're approaching their role from a different position. Just because someone is further up the organizational food chain, that doesn't necessarily mean they've got better ideas. They'll just have different ideas. So listen to people across the organization. Get deliberate. That's number 5. What type of decision are you making? And therefore, what type of information do you need? Can you make the decision on instinct? Or do you need to go through a more linear process? Or is it a deep, immersive decision because it's an adaptive challenge? Number 6, know your options. There's always options, but you really, when you're working through a problem that is challenging, understand what all those options are. Look at the variables, look at the consequences, the impact from doing something or not doing something else. Number 7, be determined. On occasions when you make decisions that are hard and challenging, it takes time and it takes effort. And also you might be making a decision that's not popular. Sometimes the best decisions you make will be unpopular decisions. So whilst you need to listen to other people, hear different ideas, challenge your own assumptions and expectations, you also need to be determined in the face of opposition when you'll know that what you're doing is morally and ethically the right thing to do. Number 8, get some sleep. When you don't have enough sleep, you effectively have the same level of cognitive impairment as if you're drunk. So, not a good time to be making a decision when you're drunk. So make sure you get sleep. That old sort of adage of, sleeping on it, there's a reason why it was said. It makes sense. If you're trying to work something through and you can't figure it out, go to bed, sleep on it, wake up the next morning. You'll be refreshed and you may see things from a different perspective. Number 9, make the decision. No decision. When you don't decide to do something, that's a decision. You can't just say, I'm not making a decision, because not making the decision is actually making a decision to do something. You're just deciding to do nothing. And doing nothing often doesn't help you. And lastly, number 10, reflect on it. You may need to give yourself space and time as you're working through the decision, but also once you've made the decision, reflect on the process that you've used, what's worked for you, what hasn't worked for you, and what would you do differently next time. Decision making, it's part of our life. You can't avoid it. But what you want to be able to do is really have a deliberate process so that you understand what you need to do how you can turn up each and every day to be in a great place to make good decisions. You know, I love the quote from Jim Rohn where he talks about, it really doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on, but at some stage you actually need to make sure you're getting off that fence, because you can't make progress without making decisions, which is very true. So take care, have a great week, and I'll see you next week.